What happened to the Yankees in that last game was nothing short of humiliating. This wasn't just a bad night at the office, it was a meltdown. A complete unraveling of what's supposed to be a professional baseball team. This team, wearing the most iconic uniform in the sport, went out and embarrassed themselves on a national stage. Again, for errors, minimal effort, zero urgency, and the worst part, it's not even surprising anymore. They walked into Toronto with a golden opportunity. If they had just managed to play decent baseball and take 2 out of 3 against the Blue Jays, despite all their issues, they could have returned to the Bronx trailing by only 2 games. In the division, that would have been a momentum shift, something to rally round. Instead, they handed Toronto the series on a silver platter, left town down for games, and looked like they couldn't care less. And I have to say it, this team played like they deserved to lose twice in one night. Once to the Blue Jays, and again to themselves. Watching this game felt like watching a bad high school team get overwhelmed in the playoffs. There were moments where you just wanted to cover your eyes and pretend it wasn't happening. The sloppiness wasn't an accident, it was a pattern. And it's a pattern we've been seeing for weeks now. These guys are making little league mistakes on the biggest stage. It's pathetic. Bellinger dropping a routine pop fly like he forgot where he was. Ben Rice mishandling a grounder that looked like a warm-up drill. And Jason Dominguez, who, to be fair, has been solid most of the year, just completely whiffing on a catch and left. One after the other, they just kept handing Toronto extra outs like it was a charity event. And the Blue Jays, they did exactly what smart, disciplined teams do when you give them extra chances. They took full advantage. That's the most frustrating part. You're not just losing to better teams, you're helping them beat you. It's one thing to get outplayed. It's another thing to self-destruct. There were flashes, of course. There always are. A big home run here, a rally there, the kind of moments that make you wonder, is this it? Is this the turning point? But it never is. Every spark gets snuffed out by another boneheaded mistake or a lazy at-bat. Every highlight gets erased by the next defensive collapse. It's like this team is allergic to momentum. They find ways to sabotage themselves over and over again, and I don't get it. Where's the urgency? Where's the pride? You look at the schedule and you see they're heading back to face a red-hot Phillies team, fresh off a dominant series. They're about to run into Ranger Suarez and Zach Wheeler, 2 of the nastiest starters in the National League. And the Yankees? They look like they're about to walk into that series like it's a spring training game. No fire, no focus, no accountability. It's maddening. By the middle of this disaster against Toronto, they had 4 errors and only 3 hits. Let that sink in. They were literally committing more errors than they were getting on base. They managed to scrape together 5 hits by the end, but still, how is that acceptable? How is that remotely okay for a team with a payroll north of $300 million? And let's talk about that payroll. People love to say, oh, but they're still over .50 or they're still in a wild card spot. Yeah, okay, but they're the New York Yankees. Since when is barely hanging on an acceptable standard? This team is built to win titles, not to scrape into the playoffs and hope for a miracle. But that's exactly what they're doing. They're coasting. They're sleepwalking through games. They're playing like a team that believes the postseason is inevitable and regular season effort is optional. It wasn't always like this. There was a time not long ago when the Yankees played with edge, with grit, with purpose. But this group, they look entitled, like they believe the name on the jersey should be enough, and it's not. Not anymore. Teams around the league have figured them out. The Dodgers did it in the World Series, just put the ball in play and let the Yankees beat themselves. And guess what? That same formula is still working because the Yankees never adjusted. They never fixed the issues. They just rolled the same flawed roster back out there and hoped for a different result. That's not baseball. That's denial. The general malaise around this team starts at the top. The attitude comes from leadership. When your manager is out here telling the media after every loss that guys are grinding or the process is good or we're close, you're sending a message to the players that accountability doesn't exist, that mediocrity is acceptable, and it shows. These guys play like they've been told they're doing fine, and they're not. And speaking of leadership, how does Brian Cashman still have a job? I mean, seriously, the guy's been running the show since the late 90s. Nearly every other team in baseball has turned over their front office multiple times in that span. But not the Yankees. Why? Loyalty. Familiarity. That might be nice in theory, but it's killing this franchise. This team needs a complete philosophical overhaul, and that starts with the front office. If Hal Steinbrenner really cared about winning, Cashman would have been gone years ago. Instead, we get the same tired approach year after year and the same underachieving results, and I don't buy the narrative that Hal doesn't spend. He spends. The payroll proves it, but the money is being spent poorly. The roster construction is baffling. You've got 3 catchers who can't hit lefties. You've got infielders playing out of position. You've got outfielders that can't track fly balls. The defense has been atrocious all season long. This isn't some Rogers Center-specific problem. It's who they are, and still, we hear Boone say after the game that we're a good defensive team. What games are you watching, then? There's the whole Max Fried situation. The guy clearly wasn't right. He was rubbing his finger. Looked uncomfortable, and after the game, we find out he had a busted blister on his throwing hand. Yet Boone goes out and says, "Oh, it didn't affect him at all. I didn't even know it was a thing." Come on, are we in the Twilight Zone? Either you're completely checked out or you're deliberately lying to protect the narrative, and neither of those options is acceptable. It's almost comical how Boone refuses to call anyone out. A guy could give up 10 runs, commit to errors, and hit into a triple play, and Boone would still say, "I thought he battled at some point." You have to stop treating the fan base like we're dumb. We see what's happening. We're watching every game, and we deserve honesty. You want to protect your players publicly, fine, but at least acknowledge the truth behind closed doors. Demand better. Set a standard. Right now, the standard is somewhere between mediocre and delusional, and while we're here, let's talk about motivation. Or the lack of it. This team walks around like the division doesn't matter. Like they're just going to stroll into October and figure it out then. And maybe that's part of the problem with the new wild card system. Teams feel like they don't need to go all in for the division, just sneak in and hope to get hot. And the Yankees have embraced that mindset like it's gospel. But guess what? Other teams aren't buying it. The Phillies, they're pushing. The Dodgers, always aggressive. Even the Red Sox, as dysfunctional as they've been, are trying. The Yankees, they're just sitting around hoping their name and legacy will carry them. It won't. Meanwhile, the rest of the league is catching up or passing them entirely. The Astros are banged up beyond belief, missing star players left and right, and still have the best record in the American League. The Brewers are on a tear. The Mariners are surging. And the Yankees are losing to teams like the Rockies, who hadn't pitched a shutout in over 100 games. That's not just bad luck. That's a failure of preparation, execution, and pride. I mean, even the Blue Jays, who aren't world beaters, know exactly how to play the Yankees. Put the ball in play, force them to field, push the issue. It works every time. Because the Yankees can't handle pressure, they crumble. And they've been crumbling for a while now. The most frustrating thing is that all of this was predictable. We saw the cracks last season. We saw them in the postseason collapse, in the World Series embarrassment, and in the total lack of urgency during the offseason. The idea that this team learned nothing from that national humiliation in Game 5 is infuriating. That game should have been a wake-up call, a moment to say, we're not good enough. We need to get better, but instead they doubled down. On arrogance, they didn't fix the mistakes. They didn't restructure. They just brought the same core back and said, let's run it back. And now they're shocked that the same problems are still here. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video. Is a blockbuster trade brewing? Rumors have been swirling in the baseball world about a potential seismic move involving Ronald Acuna Jr. and the New York Yankees, and the buzz is reaching a fever pitch. Although nothing has been officially confirmed, whispers from insiders suggest the Yankees are aggressively pursuing the dynamic outfielder to bolster their roster, sending their fanbase into a frenzy of anticipation. Ronald Acuna Jr., known for his electrifying speed, powerful bat, and all-around athleticism, has been a standout star with the Atlanta Braves. His ability to change the game in a heartbeat, whether it's stealing bases, making highlight reel catches, or launching home runs, makes him one of the most coveted players in Major League Baseball. The possibility of Acuna donning the iconic pinstripes has Yankees fans dreaming of a new era of dominance at Yankee Stadium. Sources close to the negotiations hint that the Yankees see Acuna as a perfect fit for their championship aspiration. His youth and explosive talent would provide a massive boost to an already formidable lineup. potentially addressing key gaps in the outfield and adding another potent bat to the middle of the order. This rumored acquisition could signal the Yankees' all-in approach to reclaiming glory and silencing doubters after a couple of seasons of ups and downs. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Braves organization remains tight-lipped, but insiders speculate they might be weighing their options carefully. The Braves front office reportedly recognizes Acuña's value both on the field and as a franchise cornerstone, so any trade talks are likely complex, involving high stakes and significant player exchanges or prospects heading in the opposite direction. The rumor mill is also buzzing with speculation on what such a trade might cost the Yankees. Top prospects, major league players, and hefty contracts could be on the table, making this one of the most talked about potential deals of the offseason. If this deal does materialize, it could reshape the balance of power in the American League East and send shockwaves throughout the baseball community. As the whispers grow louder and the anticipation mounts, fans and analysts alike are watching closely for any sign that this headline-grabbing rumor will become reality. Could Ronald Acuna Jr. be the missing piece that propels the New York Yankees back to the top? Only time will tell, but for now, the city that never sleeps is buzzing with excitement at the mere possibility of welcoming one of baseball's brightest young stars to the Bronx. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.